I'm Mandy Yarkich from Creative Matters, and you're listening to Creative Matters on Air, where I have conversations with new and established artists from around New Zealand. I love to listen to artists' stories and learn about their creative process, and maybe you do too, which is why I've made this podcast, to inspire, inform and educate. I hope you can take away something positive and encouraging from each of these amazing stories to help you on your own creative journey. Hi, and welcome to Creative Matters, episode 16. Thank you so much for listening. Today I'm talking to painter Amber M. Amber is a full-time award-winning artist from the northwest of Auckland, New Zealand, currently painting stunning photorealistic floral paintings. Amber took up painting in 1990 purely for pleasure, and with only 5 years of painting, she had become a professional artist. In 1998, positive feedback from a painting demonstration encouraged her to also start teaching. Amber's main inspiration for her paintings has been boats, the New Zealand seaside, and the coastal fauna and flora of New Zealand. Since 2009, she has turned her attention to the garden, and she's rediscovered a passion to recreate the pockets of beauty which are in our own backyards. She loves contrast and detail, and by eliminating the background and surrounding areas, she finds she can achieve the desired focus she wants you to notice. You can see her work on her blog, which is on our website creativematters.co.nz, and you can check out her website amberm-art.com. Hey, and welcome to Creative Matters on Air, Amber.
Hi, Mandy. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's so nice to see you.
Very, very pleasant to be here.
It's quite a cold morning, but gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Stunning view.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So just before we get started, what have you been up to this week?
This week has been a little bit hectic. I have just building up for an exhibition in July at Eden Park, and so I'm frantically trying to do my last piece, which doesn't just happen overnight, unfortunately. And so just doing that. And then, of course, Wednesdays I teach. And today I was racing into town to pick up more flowers that I'd ordered for another commission. So, yeah, been a bit busy.
Yeah. We're both feeling a bit like that at the moment. Yeah, some weeks get like that, don't they?
Yep.
So just before we start too, it might also be nice for you just to very briefly, sort of in your own words, describe your practice before we get started for people who don't know your work, and then we can go right back to the beginning.
Okay. My work is realistic. It's not, I wouldn't call it photorealism, but most people do. And I'm very into contrast. I like strong contrast. And I suppose it's pretty much how I am personality-wise as well. I'm very upfront, like I say what I think. And, I work from a little tiny studio in Whenuapai, and I only have 2 galleries that I deal with. And, it's pretty much most of my life, really. I've been very lucky to be able to follow it. My husband's been very supportive.
Luck and talent, I'd say, had something to do with it. So it's mostly flowers that you're working on now.
At the moment, it is totally flowers.
It's all flowers,
yes.
Wonderful. Well, we can unpack all of that as we go. So I'm just going back to the beginning. Can you tell us where you were born and what kind of childhood you had?
Crikey. I was born in Auckland. To obviously my mum and dad, and they got divorced a year after I was born, and then we were with my stepfather and mother, and we moved all over New Zealand, and I suppose I sort of did arty things to escape that. How do I put it without being rude? Sort of domestic issues, and so I sort of would go and draw or, find some clay and make something out of clay or whatever, just as an escape. And there we lived all, South Island, North Island. And when I was 9, we were living in Russell, the Bay of Islands, and we left in a hurry and went and lived with my uncle for a while with his 4 boys. And, I've been in Auckland ever since then. And I've always gravitated to art or craft just as it was my space. I could, and
which is pretty common for people, isn't it? And was it something that you were seeing within your family, or was it more just your little escape?
No, more my escape. Yeah, my happy place, and it still is my happy place.
Yeah.
The world could go to, hell in a handbag, and I wouldn't know. I'm in my room. Yes, and I mean, I didn't ever think I would have a job doing it. I didn't think that was possible. So
it's great, isn't it? That it's all worked out that way.
Very lucky, lucky.
Yeah, dream position to be in. So you had that. Creative space that you created for yourself, I guess, through your childhood. How did you go when you came to high school?
High school was really, really cool project covers and not much behind them. I was not very good at school. I'm hopeless at reading and spelling, and I enjoy maths, but I sort of thought, what am I going to do? I'll probably be an accountant or something like that, and used to just fall asleep in class. I hated it. I couldn't do School C art on my 5th form year because of my options that I'd done. So I ended up doing School C art in my 6th form year. And that was sort of pretty much it. I was hooked just because it was another escapism really. And but I only got a C in my portfolio, which I was devastated because all year I'd been getting like 18, 19 out of 20 and just blew my mind that I got a C. But when I was back at school, we had school notices for jobs in the area, and there was one that came up for a signwriting apprenticeship, and I just thought, sort of arty, I suppose. I could try out for it. And so that's where I went from there. I managed to get the apprenticeship.
Oh, wow. Straight from school.
Straight from school.
Yeah. And so that was signwriting was a big thing in those days. It was a real art,
no computers in those days.
No. So when was that, 80s?
Yep. Yeah, I have no idea what year it was, whatever year I would have been then. So there was only one other female in New Zealand doing signwriting at that stage, and it was a very male-dominated trade because you're lifting ladders and out on sites. And so there was quite a bit of resistance from the old guys, but, you worked through it. And I worked for a company that were quite sort of maverick. They wanted to start up a apprentice school, which was, again, there was the whole signwriting association and all that. And so they took on 3 of us at the same time, which with one tradesman, so it wasn't actually how it should be. And we sort of worked away. I was with 2 other guys, and it was great fun, but I ended up being stuck in a spray booth, spray painting, which I hated, and used to come home and just be miserable. And Mum sort of said, you've got to keep going. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. This is horrible. And I managed to get a transfer in my apprenticeship to another company, which was fantastic. That changed it completely because I was just one-on-one with a guy, and he was absolutely fantastic and just taught me so much. And that's pretty much where my brush skills come from, in those days,
Yeah. So what kind of things were you learning apart from the brush?
Gold leaf work, brush skills definitely, and how to mix colours, seeing colours, and eye to detail copying, because you're doing, people's logos, you have to be observant.
Yeah.
And how to set things out, and obviously everything is time is money, so you're on a schedule. So that sort of gave me quite a good grounding.
That's really good training, isn't it, for all parts of your career now?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I had my children, and so I got pregnant, and my husband and I decided that one of us was going to stay home with the children, and we was obviously going to be me because I was there, and I just started I was going nuts of being stuck at home, so that's when I started painting just for myself, and I was just doing watercolours at that stage, and my dad had I only saw my dad very seldom, and he did watercolours, and so he just showed me a couple of little things, and then I was on my own. I went and did one course with I can't remember the guy's name, and that was really cool. That just small clues, and that's the thing. It's just those little. Every teacher you have will give you something.
Yeah.
And so I did those, and I'd been tottering around at home just between running around kids and that. And I sort of said to my husband, it'd be really cool to have an exhibition, just sort of as you do. And I obviously said it too many times because he booked the local hall and said, you're booked in to have an exhibition in a month's time. And I'm like, what?
Oh, wow. And by then, did you have a little collection of work?
I did, but not with the intention of selling them or anything. So it was suddenly a mad panic. And I had a very good friend, Jenny Maxwell, who was a potter, who I'd sort of adopted her as my, surrogate mum. And I used to go around to see her, and her husband did picture framing. So she and I had this exhibition together. And so she had her pottery in the local hall she was like, holding my hand virtually.
That's so lovely.
And I had 15 watercolour paintings, and I sold 11 over the weekend.
Wow.
And I was just I'd never sold anything before. I was absolutely blown away. And that was sort of,
it was the beginning.
Definitely the beginning of it.
Yeah, isn't that amazing to get that kind of encouragement?
I was really, very, Jenny was amazing, very, very supportive.
Yeah, and your husband and just helping you. Do you think you would have done it if you hadn't?
No, not at all. No, I would have just carried on blundering along.
Yeah. How great. And what was the sort of theme?
Oh, the subject was all around local whenuapai subjects. Like I did planes, the wharf, the old letter boxes around the area, very sort of, and I think that's what made people buy them, because they recognised them, they meant something, it was very connectable. Yeah,
that's very cool. So after that sort of very successful moment and, feeling encouraged like that, where did you go from there?
I pretty much just was in awe of it all. I was quite shocked. And I really didn't do too much with it after that. I did a couple, each year I did an exhibition in the hall, and it became an expected thing. But I was still stuck at home with children. And then I was invited to do a demonstration at the local whenuapai fire station. It was like an art group. And that sort of went really well. And they sort of said, oh, you should teach. And I was like, me, a teacher? Ha ha. I hated teachers, like I hated school sort of thing. Yeah. So it was interesting, how do you go about teaching if you've never taught before? And one of the ladies at the thing sort of gave me a few ideas on how to go, and then I sort of started. So I just did like once a week a class there, and that turned out really, really well.
And what were you teaching there?
Just watercolours, and it was sort of just... I just go around each person and help them with what they were doing. I think, like at the beginning, I did like one picture and we all did it, and then after that, I sort of started thinking, "Oh, that's a bit crazy. Not everybody wants to paint what I paint, or what was painted." So, so that was a really interesting and really informative for me, because I ended up learning that I knew a lot more than I thought I did, which was cool, and built my confidence for that. With that.
Yeah. And that was just learning from going to the class and then just doing lots and lots of
practice.
painting.
Yeah, lots of painting. Yeah. And I suppose, it just came to me. I mean, it sounds stupid, it came to me. But it's sort of, I think it's just instinctive.
Naturally.
Yeah. And then one of the mums at the school, it wasn't till college, when the kids were in college, her children went to Carmel College, and she asked me to exhibit at the Carmel College schools. Mm-hmm. So I did that, and did that happen? No, I'm wrong there. No, I'll take that back. My auntie, she was a rep for a company, and she was up north, and a guy from Dargaville, she knew him, and he owned a gallery in Dargaville, and so he got in touch with me, and he really liked my style, and so that was my first gallery that I got into. And so I was with him for a little while, and I drove up to Dargaville and did the same thing. I took hundreds of photos of the area, because that had worked, and just did the lighthouse and all that. And through all that, I found out that my great-grandfather used to live up there, which I hadn't known, which was quite cool.
That's great. That's actually a really good concept, isn't it, to take what worked the first time and develop that and, change it to sort of suit the area that you're working in. That's really smart.
Well, it's more fluke than anything, but so it was actually really nice, and I had a lovely relationship with Ted up there. It was very it was a good gallery, but it's a long way from anywhere, and it was very, very seasonal. But sort of started to get my name out there. And then I started the school exhibitions. And from that, I had galleries approaching me from there, and that sort of moved me on. And I've had quite a few galleries over the time, but I find it very hard. Like at the beginning, I really sort of not resented them, but I struggled with the whole concept of it because they took such a big commission, and I was just like, this is crazy.
And did they tell you what they wanted?
The commission, or the that's
gallery?
That's all straight up at the beginning. But it's still hard to sort of get your head around, I suppose.
Well, you're being told what to do a bit more.
Yeah, well, no, they never tell you what to paint or what price to put on it, but, they will take a certain amount. So that's, but that was cool, and I'm fully with it now, but it's, at the beginning, you're sort of like, it seems so weird.
Yeah, and it's also hard to put up your price to accommodate that extra commission.
Because it is, you at the beginning, you've got no idea. They won't tell you what price to put on it. And so you obviously you want the most you can, but yes, you don't want to be knocked down. So it's, you still, there's no point in doing it unless you sell something. And at the end of the day, I suppose, like for me, I'm trying to make a living out of it. And I certainly haven't made a living out of it for, it's only in the last couple of years that I've made a living. And I've been very lucky that my husband's sort of kept me going, because there's definitely been days where I've like, oh, why am I bothering? This is ridiculous. And he goes, we've come this far, you've got to keep going.
Yeah, right back to the day where he got the haul for you.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, I at the beginning I was doing contract work back to the sign writers. I had a couple of guys who I used to, I knew through doing my apprenticeship, and I used to go and work for Nick out here and do a couple of days a week, and take my son in his carry cot sort of thing. And that sort of kept my hand, and I kept thinking I could always go back to that, and it was really good money, but it was not what we wanted to do. We decided we wanted to be at home, and so yeah, that was sort of that bit.
That's so interesting. And just back to the galleries. Which galleries are you working with at the moment?
I have Black Door Gallery in Parnell, and I've been with them for quite a while now, and they are really good, very professional. And Flagstaff Gallery in Devonport, and Carrie is awesome. She's such a bubbly, innovative person. And I've got, I've had other galleries like my relationship with Carrie was really. I had Monterey Gallery out at Howick, and I'd been with them for quite a long time, and they ended up shutting because their building was renovated and they couldn't survive. And like the day I finished with her, Carrie rang me just by chance, and it worked out perfect
timing. Yeah, it's often the way though, isn't it? The sort of the way life works.
Yeah, the relationship you have with the gallery owners is really important. And if you don't like them, it's horrible. It's really awkward. I've had people, one gallery in particular that I just didn't get paid. And you how do you deal with that? You're one single little artist, and depending how well known you are, you have no pull. You cannot do anything. And I remember sort of going and sitting on his doorstep and saying, I can't leave until you pay me, sort of thing.
Which is awful, isn't it?
And it is awful because they have the power, because they've got your painting, you've got nothing.
Yeah.
So
what do you recommend for, I guess it's not just about the gallery and the feel of the gallery and getting that right with you. It's also the people that are involved.
Oh, definitely. The people are actually probably more important, because if the people are right, then the gallery usually does well. Well, I think it does.
Yeah, I think so. And it's so good for you, isn't it, that you were approached. I mean, so many artists have so many issues about who do I approach and when do I approach them and how, and that's such a big thing for so many artists.
Yeah,
for you to actually be approached and then decide if you want to go with them is quite great.
Yeah, when I can't remember what year it was, but right at the very beginning, because I was painting boats and coastal scene, and my parents, well, my mum and uncles were really involved in the squadron. They had a big nautical exhibition, which was right up my alley at the beginning, and so I used to put that on. I used to get like People's Choice and things like that, And Dennis Robinson, who has written several books on New Zealand's favourite artist and all that, he approached me, and he was working at Fisher's Gallery at that stage. And he said, I want you to come in and see me. You know, I want to do your work. And this was right at the beginning. And I was just too scared. I didn't go in. And I look back and think, what an idiot now.
Wow.
I mean, it would have probably given me at least 5, if not 10 years ahead, would have put me so far ahead. But I was just too, at that stage, I didn't call myself an artist. I was really scared.
You didn't feel ready.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And
why was that, do you think? You didn't think you were good enough?
I wasn't good enough in my mind. I was very insecure at that stage. And yeah, it takes you a while. You know, I never called myself an artist till quite a long time into it. I was quite happy to call myself a sign writer, but not an artist.
It's funny, isn't it? We've talked a lot about this in different podcast episodes. You know, when you start to think of yourself as an artist or call yourself an artist. And for some reason, you know, most other jobs have titles and you use that title and it's not an issue. But with artists, it's quite hard for people to know when
to give yourself that title.
Yeah.
It's also, you don't want people to think you're flaky, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, oh, you're a flaky artist. And it doesn't sound like a proper job. I suppose, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it definitely is a proper job. It's actually quite hard work.
And I think it is more considered a proper job these
now,
days.
I think it is, yes.
Yeah. And there are more people just trying to make a go of it full time than there used to be.
Yeah. Well, I think people are more into art. You know, it's more, available to people.
Yeah. Well, that's so interesting, your story. And you think back to the Fisher Gallery, you know, how much it might have changed your path.
Would have made my path way sooner.
Yeah, but it might not have been in a positive way. You don't know.
No.
I guess.
No.
Yeah.
But it's, the school, like if I was advising somebody who's wanting to start out, I would definitely get into the school exhibitions, because that's a fantastic way to be seen. And that's where a lot of the galleries go to find new artists.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And how do you find that whole process? Is that fairly straightforward, the schools
exhibition? I think it's fantastic. They, you know, it's all very straightforward, as in, you know, you get sent all the information, you just got to fill it in. It's pretty basic, you know, what's the name of the painting, the price, da-da-da. And, you know, drop them off, they hang them. You know, go to the opening evening, which is always nice, a few wines, and then, you know, sells your painting and you get paid reasonably quickly. A lot of the galleries don't pay you for a couple of months, you know, so it's tricky. I mean, my galleries don't do that. My galleries are really good, but, you know, you can have quite a few issues. But the schools are really good because it's done and dusted in one weekend. Yeah. And you can get your money.
And good exposure.
Yeah, really good exposure. And a lot of the parents are going because they want to support the school. You know, and then it becomes sort of, you know, like, well, I bought a painting. Oh, I better buy a painting.
Yeah,
so it's that whole
peer pressure. Works well. That's great. Oh, that's good. And then I didn't realise that gallery owners go to those kind of shows to, you know, look for people. So it is a good.
Well, they've got a really good little, you know, view selection of all sorts of artists.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Oh, good. And then from the boats and the sort of coastal places and that kind of thing, you've obviously, where did you go from there?
Well, I've painted boats. I love boats. We have 2 boats, and which sounds terrible. But when I was teaching in Whenuapai, I just hired the little local corner derelict building and was teaching there. And one of my ladies came and she painted oil paintings, which I didn't do at that stage. I was painting acrylics, but not oils. And she wanted me to teach her, and I said, well, I can teach you to paint flowers, but I have no idea how to use oils. And so we sort of did a bit of a swap, and it was really interesting because I'm not a flowery person at all. I have no flowers in my garden. In fact, my husband does. I don't do much in the garden at all. I like them, but and started teaching her, you know, painting this big flower, and I realised they're actually really interesting. They're much harder than I thought. I only just thought little old ladies painted flowers. I was quite sceptical of it, and I didn't want to be a teacher that taught little old ladies flowers, you know.
Yeah.
But she was doing a big painting, and I really enjoyed it, and it was quite challenging. And I thought, oh, it's just not something I would normally paint, and it really made me, open to it, I suppose, and I really enjoyed it. And
how did it feel different to the boats and it's still realistic, isn't it?
It's still very realistic, but it's more, lots of very subtle colours and lots of blends and things like that, which with acrylics can be a little bit challenging. And so it was quite cool at that stage. So I'd sort of been doing that for a little while, and then I did a huge big painting of a knee cow in acrylics, and that went into the Easter show, and I won, well, not won, I came second in the professional section. I mean, I must have obviously thought I was in the professional section at that stage. And I won an oil kit from the French art shop. And it was like $900 worth. So it wasn't something I was just going to shove in a cupboard. And I thought, I'll give it a go. And so I got my student to sort of, I'd been helping her. So I'd got a bit more knowledge by then. And that was starting the oils, and that was just like, oh, hello.
Really?
Hello, this is nice.
Is that right? A lot of people who use oils feel like that about oil paint.
Just the blending. It's fantastic. You can't go wrong. And so that was a sort of the change into flowers. And I walk my dog every morning, and I'd taken a photo of some camellias in a lady's over the fence. And I did a huge big painting of that and took that to Remuera Gallery. And he took it and sold it really quickly.
Wow.
And then it was sort of like, okay,
I'm on to good things. Yeah.
And that started the flowers sort of, I had, that transition area, and the flowers started taking off more than the boats. And it was like, oh, okay, And that's sort of the beginning. It just sort of kept on going.
And did you you just loved it from the beginning, the flowers?
I did.
And
I did, because it was completely different colours, like pinks and things. I've never done pinks.
Yeah.
I don't wear pink, And so it was quite a revelation. It was just a whole, it was just a wake up. Really, really nice change.
That's fascinating.
And,
such an interesting story. And did you sort of yearn for your boats and coastal scenes?
I still do. I really enjoy them and I love them, but there are thousands of people who paint boats in New Zealand. It's very iconic for New Zealand. And I've now got a sort of a niche with, my flowers. I'd love to do more nudes and things like that. I'd like to do people. But it's really, I know when I changed from boats to flowers, I took a huge hit in income because you've got to find a whole new following.
Yeah, that's true.
And to do that now, I'm not really willing to take it. I had a year where I was really struggling mentally with it, but I've sort of pulled my big girl panties up and said, come on, girl, get into it. So, and I've got it back, that desire.
And what were you struggling with?
I suppose I did a session, like once I started painting peonies, that became all anybody wanted. And you can sort of get a bit over painting the same thing over and over and over again. And so I just wanted to, break out and do something different. So that was sort of more the issue. And then I've sort of started doing other flowers in between to sort of keep my sanity.
Yeah. So how do you, if you get an order for peonies, you've kind of got to go there.
I definitely will go there because I do love them and they are beautiful flowers and there's so many varieties.
Yeah, and you seem to still, each painting, even though it's the same flower, seems so very different.
Yeah. I suppose, and I've got better at doing it. Like all my paintings, I take the photos for them.
Yeah, so it'd be good to talk about your process.
Yeah, I like last Saturday I got a commission.
Hello, dog. Sorry, my
hello.
dog's contributing once again to the podcast.
Somebody from Australia is ringing me saying he wants a painting for his wife and, she likes pink mums. And so I've got to source those flowers. At the stage I'm at, I couldn't use anything on the internet. It just wouldn't be professional. So I'm looking at all my local florists. I can't get any. And so rang a florist in town who was my boss, my daughter's boss years ago, and she's fantastic. That's Flowers on Franklin. And so she ordered them in from overseas and got them in for me.
Oh, wow.
I think it was from overseas. So I picked up them this morning. I'll go home and I take probably 100 photos. And from those I will, I just use my phone and then I go put them on the computer, go through them, might pick 8 or 9 out of them that are okay. The composition is good.
So do you play with do you get the flowers?
No.
And
I play with the flowers.
The composition.
Yeah, I sort of shove them in a vase and turn it around and fluff around with it. I'm not a florist, sort of thing. So it's a real not potluck, but it's I'm not sitting there micromanaging it. I'm sort of like, a lot of it's a random thing.
But you know what you like.
Yeah.
And your floral works aren't in vases normally, are they?
No.
It's like do you place them on the table or?
Sometimes I place them on the table. I just go outside and do it on my deck table. And otherwise I'm holding them in my hand, sort of scrunching them, holding them tight. I sort of play around with it. I've got a lot better at doing that over the years just because it's practice like anything. And then so I'll do that and I just remove the backgrounds on the computer. I don't do any photoshopping on it other than removing the background. I don't add bits in. And then I'll send them through to the person. I might send through 4 mock-ups and say, am I anywhere near it? Let me know what direction we're going in. Are the flowers okay? Do you want more colour? Do you want more leaves? And then they'll say, I like 1 or number 4 or something. And then I'll say, right, from there I'll give them more options of that style and sort of go through that. I might go back 3 or 4 times with the person.
With photographs.
Yeah, with photographs.
Wow, that's quite involved.
And then once they're happy with one, I've sort of, like you can keep going forever. Though, you don't want to give them 20 choices because nobody can make their mind up on that. So you sort of get down and you're saying, okay, right, it's that one or that one. Are you happy with that? And they'll say, yeah, I want number 2. And so then, obviously we've talked about size and proportion because I need to do that before I do the mock-up anyway.
Yeah.
And then I sort of give them a price. They pay 50% up front. And then, I sort of get into it. So, depending on the size, most of my paintings take me between a month and 6 weeks. And when it's finished, I generally send them photos during the journey, sort of because that's part of it. They get to feel like they've enjoyed the journey.
That's nice.
And then when it's finished, if they're in Auckland, they come and have a look at it. If they're, or whatever, send them photos. And if they're not happy with it, which I've never actually had,
no,
I would pretty much anything to make them happy with it. That's the whole thing. What they see in that original photo is pretty much what they're going to get. That's what we're both aiming for. They know that's what they want, and I know that's what they want. It's really hard. I don't know how people do commissions when they're abstract without completely letting it go. Because I don't know what's in someone else's head.
Yeah, it's really hard, I think.
Yeah, and that's again back to my personality. I think paintings really say a lot about people's personality. You can walk around a gallery and look at different paintings and you can sort of pretty much pick, well, I think you can, what sort of person they are. And it's really nice to meet the people who buy your paintings. It's not often you do.
That's such a personal thing, isn't it?
Yeah, with the galleries you never even hear anything. So it's really nice to get the private commissions.
Yeah, well that's the personal touch, isn't it? And I guess it would be slightly less stressful potentially because from the beginning what the end product needs to look like.
I don't know whether it's less stressful because there's always that element of, oh God, it doesn't matter how good you are, you still have, I still have that same, just a little fear of, are they going to be happy with it?
Really?
And it's, I think I definitely still.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Because your work is so incredibly beautiful and realistic, and it must always look like the photo that you take at the beginning.
Yeah, but it's still that I don't know.
Just if they're feeling it. Or,
yeah. And like if they when they come to my house, I've usually got it placed on the main lounge wall. And I want them to walk around that corner and just go, oh, wow. Yeah. It's the wow factor. That's the whole thing of it for me. And that's pretty much why I paint quite big, because I want that wow factor, And you're walking around, oh, that's cool.
You're not a shrinking violet.
No.
In personality or as an artist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very exciting though, isn't it, to have that kind of response, in which you must get a lot.
Yeah, like I had one I did recently. I did a lady sent me a flower that was from her mother's garden, and her mother had passed away. And she wanted it really big. It was just one single rosebud, and when she came, she just burst into tears. And like, although that's sad because she's obviously thinking about her mum, it's such a response, and it's really nice to do anything that gets that much of a response from anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's quite a privilege.
It is. It's a really nice thing to be able to do.
That's great. Oh, it's interesting to hear your commission process. Obviously is not that negative, mostly is reasonably positive way for you to work.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, commissions are fantastic because a lot of depends if they have come directly to me or gone through the gallery. Through the gallery is a little bit harder because you're going through a third person, and a lot of you've got to sort of send it, and then you wait, and then you've got to get them to send it on, and so it's quite a lot slower process.
And the galleries never give it up to you to manage?
Definitely not. No.
Wow.
It would be much easier, but they don't.
Yeah.
No. It's just, that they protect their client base very strongly.
That would be quite tricky. Yeah.
Yeah. And, but it works. It does definitely work. And, at my stage, with the prices that I'm demanding, I have to have the galleries because that's where, wealthier people go. They want, that whole professionalism.
Yeah.
And so, I don't have those friends.
Yeah.
So,
and they they want the support from the gallerist.
Yeah. They want to feel safe and secure, and that's cool. It works. It does work really well.
Yeah.
But it's that all comes down to that trust with the gallery. Yeah.
And so, how you have your commission process? What you obviously do other work that's Massey
that was a goodie.
Being very badly behaved today. She's got the bee in her bonnet. Sorry about that. So just going back to your process when you're not making a commission.
Yes.
How does that work?
Without commissions, I'm just constantly taking photos, and I just I'll buy flowers just at the local dairy or wherever, or I'll see someone's garden that I really like and I'll take a photo over their fence. I don't know, and just doing taking photos, and I have like thousands of photos in my stock, and I just sort of go through them and pick something. It's really just how I feel on the day.
What you feel like painting.
Yeah, and what sort of proportions. It's a lot to do with sizing of things. Like I feel like I've done a lot of square ones. I need to do a landscape style.
Yeah, and have you ever done round?
I have done one.
One round one. Wow. Was that recently or a while ago?
About 2 years ago. Yes.
And how did that feel?
I did it on board, and I don't like painting on board. I've decided it's too slippery for me.
You like canvas?
I like canvas. Yeah. And so all my commissions I do on linen, which when they do it, it's just that whole another level of stuff. Yeah.
Do you have that placed onto a frame before you start?
Yes.
And you get that done professionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, with COVID, I bought a massive roll of linen because I thought, I don't know how long we're going to be. So that is lying underneath my bed.
Oh, really?
I haven't used it. So because we didn't really go in long enough, which is not. I mean, I thought COVID was great. I was stuck at home anyway, so it was. Yeah. Oh, well, we don't want terrible, we don't want to tempt fate. I don't think that was That was not a good thing. COVID,
no, but hopefully you'll have more time again to get that linen out from under the bed.
Yeah.
Oh, and so as far as colour goes, obviously that's a really important part of your work. How do you decide, what sort of colour palette you're going to be using for different paintings? Is it, again, how you're feeling, what you feel like at the time?
Well, with having the black backgrounds, it does, I find it does limit me to being the lighter colours because of my contrast thing. So it's, it's pinks and white.
Yellows.
Yeah, and yellows. And not very often do I do yellow. I've done one yellow, which was rose, and that was on a white background.
Oh, wow.
But that was a commission, and I loved that painting. I would quite happily do it again, but I don't often get yellow flowers apart from daffodils.
Yeah.
And,
And so the black background, is that what you like most, or you have done blue backgrounds?
I've done other backgrounds, and I'm quite happy to do other colours. I've done greys and, soft colours. I don't mind. it's really interesting because I did one the other day, which I thought, right, I'm going to do a light background, break out, and I'll do the flowers, and it just doesn't have that impact that I like, that contrast. And I sort of fluff around for days, and I'm sort of grumpy and sort of unsettled. And then I just give it and do the black.
Is that right? And do you have any other dark colours that you use sometimes, like olive green or?
Not really, no.
Dark blue?
No, not really.
Black.
It's just the whole black. And I don't know, it just seems to work for me.
Yeah. Well, it looks amazing. And it's it's kind of a personal signature thing, I'd say.
Well, and that's not half thing, but it's a big thing with being an artist. You've got to have your recognisable point of difference.
Yeah, and it very much is, I'd say. So it's interesting hearing about, your fascination with colour. Can you tell us about your actual process from beginning to end, how you build a painting?
Obviously, I've got my photos, and once I've sort of chosen something, then I grid it up and draw it onto the canvas. And then I generally start with the black background, just put that in so that when I start my flowers, and I'm leaving the flowers white, they're blank, I've got that contrast straight away. I find if I paint my flowers on a white background, I end up making them darker because they're light coloured flowers.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
I find that that's my sort of beginning, and then I just work from left to right because I'm right-handed, and got my little setup. My studio is tiny; it's only 2 meters square, and I've got my desk, my office in there as well. So it's tiny. I've just got the one more, but it's our old front porch, which we built in, and my husband put windows all round, so I've just got one wall, and it's lovely and warm, and just work my way from flower to flower. I'm very methodical. I do everything one coat. Then I can stand back and go, maybe that bit needs a bit more strength, or bring the colour up.
And what's your first coat like? Is it the actual colours you're going to stick with, or do you underpaint with another colour?
No, I'm very much paint. What's there is there. I'm sort of thing, and every now and then I'll take one of my paintings into my class where I teach, and they're all like, "Oh, that's your first coat." Like it's very detailed. Well, for most people, but then I'll go back. My second coat is where I put all the real detail in. And it takes me twice as long. So, and that's sort of pretty much it. Takes, sort of 4 to 6 weeks. Obviously every Wednesday I'm teaching, so that's not included. And then my husband's, he doesn't work Fridays, so Fridays and the weekends sort of thing. But then, like at the moment, I'm building up for this exhibition. I'm working sort of every moment I can, all weekends, doesn't matter.
Wow. And do you have more than one painting on at a go?
Not often, no. I might have the beginning of one, like just set out, but not really started.
And is that a space issue or just?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a space
and
issue.
And you're 2 metre by 2 metre?
It is a space issue. And it's also, it's that concentration thing. I sort of have my mind set on that, and it's quite sort of focused.
You need to stay on that one. Yeah.
And, my husband comes home and he was like, how have you got on today? And he'll look at it and he says, I can't see what you've done. But to me, I might have done one flower.
Yeah.
So it's quite
amazing. It's fastidious.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think I could do it.
I'm not like that with anything else. I'm terrible at housework.
Really?
And I'm not very organised. My desk is just a pile of stuff. But that in my paintings, I'm very fussy.
That's funny, isn't it? But it's still telling us something about your personality, surely.
Yes, well, very. I am. Yeah, I do like control. It's probably more what it is.
Yeah.
Before I was in the studio that I'm in now, I was in a massive studio down underneath our house. It was huge, but it was freezing cold, and it was all fluorescent lighting. And when I was doing landscapes, my green of the grass was like fluorescent because to me it was the right colour, but it was under fluorescent lighting. And so having natural light's fantastic.
Yeah, makes a difference. And are you quite fascinated with the different shades, like in white?
Oh, there's endless shades. And white flowers are not white. They have every shade in them. And it's like with my pinks, I've probably got about 8 different pinks that I use, and I, before I start, I'll do little sort of samples and stuff like, oh, no, it's got to use that one, that one for that. And
so you're using different reds and different whites.
Yep. No, not
one
so much.
white.
One white, just the titanium. But I'll be using, alizarin or mauve or all those different ones.
And making
the colour I want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. And when you're making colours, you're matching it with a photograph.
Yes. Well, no, not the photograph. I've got a screen next to me, and so I use it. I can zoom in and see the detail. Which I zoom in even more now because my eyes are getting worse as I'm getting older.
Your computer's getting bigger.
Yes, yeah. So I zoom in, and that helps to focus. Yeah.
So you're all about colour, contrast, detail.
Yes. Yeah. And that whole, I really like the smooth look. I used to have a brush that was made from mongoose hair, which is like a fan, and that was like my blending brush, and they don't make them anymore, which is really devastating because I don't really care about any of my brushes except for that one because it was just had the right springiness. It didn't go into fingers when it's wet. It was really good. And so it'd been, the last 2 years trying to find something else that does that for me.
Wow, and you haven't found it yet?
No, not really. Well, I've sort of found others, but that don't do. It's much harder.
And that flatness in paint, I mean, my style's sort of changing a little bit with painting, and I'm trying to keep it super flat, and I really have a lot of trouble doing that. I know I need to paint more and get just practice, but it's quite hard, isn't it, to get that no brush strokes showing. Yeah,
and that's that whole blending. Well, in oils it's not so hard, I don't think, but acrylics is a lot harder because it dries that much quicker.
So are you doing acrylics at all? Is it all?
No, I mean, when I'm teaching, like in my classes I teach watercolours, acrylics, oils, and just go around each person individually. So I am painting in that respect, but not for the galleries, no. Just oils is just so much easier, especially with the subject.
And you get that final result you want. Yeah. So just onto the teaching, how do you structure your classes?
Most of my classes are between sort of 10 and 15 people, and I just go around each person individually and help them with whatever they want to paint. I'm not sort of standing in front of the class going, da-da-da-da. It's very, personalised to each person. And I'll have a watercolour person next to an oil person next to an acrylic person. And, I've been doing it for quite a while now. I think, was it 1990 I started teaching.
Oh, wow.
And it was just in the local hall. Now I'm at the Kumeu Art Centre, and that's been really amazing. It's a lovely spot.
Yeah.
And it's developed so much since I started there. And they're really great, supportive place to teach.
Yeah, they're great there.
And it's really good. So I've got the 3 classes on a Wednesday. So I've got a 2-hour, a 3-hour, and another 3-hour. And then a Thursday night class.
Wow.
I mean, I could do a lot more classes. I have a huge waiting list, and there's only a spot if somebody drops out, which is, awkward because it's got to the stage where it's ridiculous. And I could easily do more classes, but it just is less time for me to paint.
That's right. You don't have time.
Yeah.
And do you have people coming sort of term after term after term?
I've got ladies who've been coming for 13 years. So,
wow. And they do all their painting with you, basically, in your class.
Yeah, and admittedly, those ladies don't need much help from me now. They just sort of, I'll pass them, and just sort of, what do you think of that? I said, you could bring that contrast up, or you could, blend that down, or bring that colour up. And it's become, they've been with me. I've seen my children grow up. They know me really, really well.
So lovely.
And it's really nice, and it's really good for me because as an artist, it's a really isolated job. You're in your studio on your own, going in your head.
Yeah.
And then I have my classes where I can go and get my 2,000 words out. Well, I usually get about 10,000 words out.
Yeah.
And then, I can cope for the rest of the week, or my husband can cope.
It's a good balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just getting out there. And do people, they just keep their spot in the class?
Yes.
And just, so that's why there's a big waiting list.
Yeah, because if you're in, then, it's up.
You're in.
At the end of the term, like I've got 3 weeks from the end of this term. So I'm saying to them now, if anyone wants to, opt out or go somewhere else, that's fine. Just let me know, because I've got a list and I need to.
Right.
And they're all like, no.
They keep coming back.
Yeah.
How amazing.
And it staggers me, because I've got people coming from all over. I've got ladies who drive from Calcop, Mangawai, Remuera, it's all over.
Yeah.
And then I'll get ladies who are from Tauranga or Taupo, and they'll sort of, can I come up? I'm coming to Auckland, can I come for a day? And I don't do it very often, but I'll squeeze the odd person in, just
That's
because
so great.
It's such a, it's a privilege to be able to do that too.
Yeah, and you've obviously, created something that's very unique to you, and, not everyone's offering that kind of class. Well,
yeah, and I think because of the calibre of my paintings, that I'm trusted, and pretty much all of my students will have sold something now, and a lot of the ladies, they'll when we have a class exhibition, that pays for their year's lessons, so it's quite good.
And what do you do if you have a client who is making something abstract or something that's not what you want?
I tend to, if people are coming to me, I will say, look, I don't teach abstract work. It's not my bag, and try and find somebody who can teach them that way. Depending on the style, and I don't want to teach them my style. I want them to do their own thing, but it's, I'm more into realism, and I sort of state that very clearly at the beginning.
And those are your skills that you can offer.
Yeah, because like if someone asked me to paint an abstract, I'd really struggle. I'd have to make it into something. Yeah.
Oh, it's really cool. And those ladies are very lucky. And do you ever have men at those classes?
I've had a few men, and it's interesting because the men who keep coming are really lovely men, and they're good with women. Not like that, but they like women's company, and they're usually very chatty.
Metrosexuals.
Yeah. Whereas the ones that come for one or two, they just they come and they think it's not for them, and that's cool.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
And I know that you do these amazing painting retreats in Otago, of the South Island of New Zealand, and I saw those on Facebook. They looked absolutely unbelievable, the last one that you did, and you had incredible weather.
Fantastic weather. We're so lucky.
Yeah, and it looked incredible. So can you tell us all about that?
Well, this all began because friends of ours bought a canal boat in France, and we went over and stayed there, and we were like, they're going for 4 months a year, and I'm like, how can you fund this? This is crazy. It's so cool. And they sort of said, well, they take people on these tours, and to buy brocante, secondhand French stuff. And so Tone and I were like, well, how could we make it work for us? And I said, well, I could run classes. That would, retreat, And so that sort of got us thinking. And so we ended up buying ourselves a canal boat in France. It was an old shitter, believe me. It's
Really?
nothing fancy at all. Needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so I sort of said, well, we can do that, and I'll do a tour over there, and, we'll just take 6 ladies or men, whatever, and, that'll help us pay for, the time over there.
Take 6 people from here?
From here.
Wow.
And so I had we put all together. I went, when we were over in France, I found a lodge that we would hire the whole place with a chef, the whole thing, and I'd gone and scoped out all these different wonderful sites to paint. It was sort of like getting quite exciting, and came back home and sort of started talking to everybody about it, and I was booked pretty much straight away, and people paid their deposit, and then COVID struck, so had to refund everybody, which was fine. And so then we're sort of like, okay, well, I don't know when we'll get back there, and sort of sitting there procrastinating about it. And then I thought, well, why don't we do it here? So sort of that was the hardest part, is trying to find accommodation for, like a 7-bedroom accommodation. That's really nice. That's, self-contained.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be in like a hotel or anything. And so I've, searched Google and, found Book a Batch and all those things, and found a place down in Wanaka, and got chatting to the lady online about it, and it was perfect. And it worked out that I'd met the people who own it over in Italy about 5 years ago.
Really?
But it was their daughter I was communicating, so I had no idea And she sort of said, "Oh, I met this lady and she was meant to be doing tours." And then they said, "Oh, what's her name?"
Oh my
And it was them. And it was just such a fluke, and
Wow.
it was sort of like it was meant to be. And it's just a stunning spot.
What's the name of that
It's
place?
called Maple Lodge, and it's got 7 bedrooms. Each room's got its own lovely ensuite, so it's really private. We're way out in the country. Well, not way out. We're about 5 minutes from the actual township of Wanaka. Can't see another house. Beautiful, beautiful property. And, you know, we go there. Well, we pick everybody up from Queenstown Airport, take them there. We, you know, do them lovely meals. We have catered meal and things. So I provide 3 of the dinners of the 7 nights. And then the other nights we sort of go into Wanaka and, you know, they can find what they want or whatever. We do breakfasts and that. And then each day, 9 o'clock in the van, and we're off to different locations. And my whole thing was to try to find different subjects for them to paint. You know, like we've got a river scene, we've got, you know, the stony buildings, we've sort of got, you know, the lupins or the lavender or, you know, things like that. So it's really cool. And because it's only 6 ladies, it's very close-knit and it's really, you know, it's really intimate. It's
That'd be
lovely.
lovely, yeah.
And so I provide all the painting gear. So you can do watercolours, acrylics or oils. And, it's
And you have easels and...
yeah, I have easels, everything. And then, you know, I've got wet boxes for transporting wet paintings and things like that. So
Wow.
it's been, you know, my husband and I do it together, and he's fantastic. He does all the driving and does all the dishes, which is great.
So good. You really need another person.
Yeah,
wouldn't
and
you?
it's really good because he knows what I don't like doing or what I'm not good at. And so he just slots in, you know, we're a really good team. And it's actually just been such a pleasure. And so I've, like at this point, I've got Christmas's December one is fully booked, and I was sort of, you know, while that was as far as I was going to go, and then they're all asking me, when's the next one? When's the next one? So I've now got 2 booked for April next year, and they're
Fantastic.
pretty much fully booked.
That's amazing.
So it's just gone off.
Well
It's
done.
been crazy. So I don't know whether we will do ones in France because I can't speak French, and it's an issue. If something goes wrong, you have to be able to deal with it, and I
Yeah.
don't know whether I'm brave enough to do that yet,
Yeah,
so.
I guess it's more of a challenge, but something that might happen over
In
time.
the future, yeah. Like when we were first going to do it, we had a friend who was going to come with us who speaks fluent French. So that might happen still. So, yeah.
Oh, well, do you know
Watch this
Do you
space.
know Patsy?
I do know
She'd
Patsy.
be
Yes,
great.
yes.
You could combine the painting with
Yeah.
the touring of the area. Yeah, that'd be good.
It would be. I mean, it's just so beautiful. It's so different from here.
Yeah.
And
But, you know, we're very lucky with the scenery in New Zealand, especially the South Island.
yeah,
What you can paint here.
so
is
lovely.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds incredible. And did you find that easier because you had the connections from your art class?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Like the first one was just all students, and so that's been really nice. But then I put it on Facebook, and I've got people, you know, from all over wanting to go. So
Well
it's
done.
good.
Yeah.
And you know, once the first one's done, you know, you get the feedback and all that. But it's you know, I think it's sort of going to go really well. And I'm always looking for another location, but it's the accommodation is the restriction for me because I don't want it to be sort of substandard.
Yeah.
I want it to be really nice so that the ladies feel like they've had a holiday.
Had a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you do one different painting each
Every day,
day?
yeah, do a different location.
And so they may not finish, but they...
You know, they may not finish, but, you know, the idea is you take photos as well so that when you get back to your own studio or
Carry
back to
on.
classes, you can carry on. Yeah.
That's good. Good way to start.
Yeah. And I mean, they're only little paintings because you don't have time to fill it in, and it's quite tiring. So
And you've got to take the paintings back home,
yes,
I guess.
yeah.
Well, that's so great, and it's very entrepreneurial of you.
Yeah, I'm not one to sit still. Like when COVID struck, I was like, okay, right, I've got to do something here, and started the online classes, which was such a learning curve. You know, there was definitely hair pulling and a few swear words.
Yeah.
But it had been something I'd talked about for ages, thinking, it'd be really cool to do that, but was never actually going to do it. So it forced me into doing something, and I've done it, and I can say I've done it now, and I've given it a try.
And now you've just got to get it out there.
Yeah. yeah.
Which is hard too. It's another element.
Oh, huge element.
Yeah, and that's the thing about, being a full-time artist. It's not just painting, it's all the other, running a business basically. So how do you find the marketing side of things, social media, websites?
Yeah, I'm not great at it. It's not my thing, and I find, anything on the computer just about puts me to sleep. So I do Facebook and I do Instagram, and that's pretty much it. I don't really do any other advertising.
But you do well with your Facebook and your, especially the retreats. I think you were taking a video every day.
I was trying to, yes.
Trying
to get that going.
Which is brave.
And I really enjoyed doing probably because I was very happy doing the retreats. They're a lot of fun to do, and the people are lovely. You're in a great location.
It'd be amazing.
It's lovely.
What do you do if it's terrible weather?
I've got quite a few. I've always got the backup. I've organised with the Arrowtown Museum. They've got we're allowed to go in there if it's raining, and they've got a whole old street scene underneath the building that's not so busy, and we can go down there and paint.
Perfect.
And we've got at the Goldfields. You can go paint there. There's a couple of locations that I can, and of course
all the boxes.
Still at the lodge. That's beautiful, so we can or I'll just do a lesson at the lodge. Set up a still life and do something there.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And website side of things. I mean, your website's very, has all the information that you need about your classes and the painting retreats and all your work and that kind of thing. Do you use it as a selling place?
I've never actually sold anything off my website. I've always had a website, and I've only just updated it, this one. It's more for people if they're wanting the information to go looking. I pretty much rely on my Facebook page. It's just because the website's a bit more technical and I can't do it myself.
Yeah.
So whereas the Facebook, I can do that myself. It's pretty idiot-proof.
Yeah.
And you can have a bit,
Yeah, and it's always nice. I find the same thing. It's nice when you can just do it yourself when you want to do it and it's up.
Yeah,
instead of waiting for somebody to come
and
back
it's a bit
to you.
more spontaneous.
Yeah, and personal.
Apart from trying to set up a camera in your workroom, and things falling off or the, battery runs out, things like that.
Yeah.
That's always a bit of a...
The technology side.
Yes.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Oh, well, that's very interesting. So you've really, in your life, got, lots of different elements which kind of feed each other, don't they? And sort of combine so beautifulally so that you've got the nice balance for yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, when we are away on the boats, or anywhere, I always take my watercolours with me. I mean, I love watercolours, that's probably my favourite, but I can't do them for a professional because of I had a car accident years ago and my neck's really bad, so I can't work on a flat surface. I have to stand. But on a holiday, I've got my little notebook, and I just do little watercolours wherever I am, which is really nice because it's sort of like little mementos.
They'll probably be very valuable once you're dead. So keep your little books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool for that.
It's great. Great way to record your adventures.
Well, and it also, I get my fix.
Yeah, that's right.
About 10 days is my absolute limit before I'm starting to go stir crazy.
That's such an interesting story, from the sign writing, which we were talking about, young people of today wouldn't even know what that is, sort of a dying art, but how much that's informed your practice and, now you're working in similar ways, like with the gridding of your work and that sort of thing, but you've sort of gone down your own path.
Yeah. I think it's interesting, like we had that meeting, that talk the other day at the Arts Centre and everybody got up and said their thing and I felt really, what's the word, not inadequate, but different from everybody because I'm coming at it from a completely different angle. Like a lot of them, you're all doing experimental stuff, you're all developing yourself and all that. And I'm sort of thinking, I never really did that. I never went to university. I never did any of those art degrees or anything. I sort of have just gone at it from a professional side straight away. And it is about making a living. Like for years I was earning like $2,000 a year. I mean, I wasn't making any money, but trying to sort of get that momentum. But I knew I sort of did have faith in myself, I suppose.
Which is
way
great.
Back, yeah.
And it's what you did with the sign writing apprenticeship and the work with that is no less valued than going to art school.
It's all very technical for that side, which is, it's given me great base.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so just to finish off, I've got a couple of little questions for you. What would you say, I ask everybody this question, what would you say to someone starting out on their creative journey?
I would say go to as many different teachers as you can, because every single teacher, even if you don't like them, will give you one little piece, one little nugget of knowledge. And if you want to do it, keep going.
I agree, yeah. And what do you love most about what you do?
Oh, I love the flexibility that I can fit it in wherever I am, and that whole escape. I just go into my own little world. I love that, and I like getting a reaction from people. That's a really nice. That I do definitely get that buzz.
Yeah, and it sounds like you don't have a lot of spare time with the work that you do and the amazing creating. But is there anything else you do that you haven't mentioned that you like to do in your spare time?
Oh, well, spare time is going out on the boat and being social with friends. No, I don't really do much else. I mean, I used to do a lot of crafty things, sewing and bits and pieces, but don't tend to do that as much anymore. It's really about sort of getting on with things.
You're busy.
Yeah, now the kids have moved home. It's just, it's just sort of doing it.
Yeah. And what's in the future for you, do you think?
Oh, well, we'll do these tours for a while and see if we can get those going. That's sort of where I'm heading. I mean, I look at those shows on television, DIY chateaus in France and think, oh, that would be nice. But I mean, it's
you could make a TV program out of that. Oh my goodness, a reality painting retreat.
Yeah, I don't know whether that would. I would do it, but my husband definitely wouldn't. But it's I don't know. Watch the space.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
That's exciting.
I'm always looking.
Yeah,
I always have lots of ideas, but whether anything comes of it.
Yeah, but you obviously have made lots of your ideas. And I'm sure you'll end up somewhere exciting in Europe once the pandemic is over.
Yeah. Well, it's not going anywhere, so it's it'll happen.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, thank you, Amber.
Oh, you're
welcome.
welcome.
Lovely to have a chat. And, we've kind of crossed paths a few times at Kumeu Arts.
Yeah.
But so nice to hear all about your process and practice. And, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. It's been
You're
great.
welcome. Thanks.